Welcome to Allies or Enemies. This time we are talking about Meadow Downstream. Our copy of the game was provided by the publisher, but the thoughts are all our own. Designed by Klemens Kalicki, with amazing illustrations by Karolina Kijak, Downstream is an expansion to the card drafting, tableau building, nature-loving game Meadow. This new expansion is all about the water, adding a new double-sided board with a choice of a lazy kayak or an exciting ride on the rapids, as well as a whole stack of river and wetlands themed cards, which include some of the most adorable images to find their way into the game yet. But how does it actually play? Let's find out.
This still plays much the same as the base game. You use your tokens to draw cards, then add cards to your tableau. The difference is now you will also be using your river trail token to draw one river card each round, or two if you optionally use your question mark token. These river cards are added to your tableau much the same way as in the base game by being placed on other cards that have the icons they need. But instead of scoring points, these cards all have or symbols, which denote how far you will be moving your kayaker downstream, which can gain you both points and bonuses. If your kayaker moves past or onto any icons on the riverboard, immediately gain that benefit. Depending on the side of the riverboard, these may include gaining bonus tiles, scoring extra bonus tokens, or taking cards. At the end of the game, after you add up all of your cards and bonus tokens, you also add points based on how far along the river you paddled. And then, as always, the greatest nature lover is named.
One of the biggest draws of Meadow is its presentation, and Downstream continues to build on a fantastic production. Let's start with the cards, which are frankly amazing. Karolina Kijak adds life into every scene, both with the animals, which are as cute can be, like this happy seal or this raccoon who does not want to be painted, and with the landscapes and houses, which are legitimate art, like art. The riverboard is also excellent, with its winding waters that give you a bit of a feeling like you're having a float on a lazy day, and all of the icons are clear and easy. And it is especially impressive that they made it double-sided, and no matter which way it faces, it locks seamlessly into the campfire board. This is the kind of attention to detail that makes board gamers happy.
The key here is that Downstream adds about 25% to both the game time and complexity. The game time will increase by roughly 10 to 15 minutes per player, plus a little for AP players, which isn't surprising because it adds another action per turn, a few new icons to fit into your ecosystem, and most importantly, the challenge of balancing building your tableau with making your way up the river. And that puzzle will get a lot trickier with more players. At 2 players, you can usually get the cards you want and move up the river at a nice pace. But at 4 players, those slots fill up quickly, and the game becomes more figuring out how to use the cards you end up with rather than planning to get the cards you need. At 3 or 4, you will also need to use the campfire board a lot more often and worry more about the race on the riverboard for those best cards and bonus tiles. There is also a solo mode which plays much the same as it did in the base game, which means a kind of bot that fills up spots and steals cards. It is a best score style solo mode, but it feels more satisfyingly puzzly than many.
We have played more than a dozen games of Meadow and hadn't felt like it was going stale yet. But there is no denying that Downstream adds even more variability and replayability to the mix. It is especially impressive that there are 2 ways to play, and they do both feel different. The lazy river side is a bit easier to get to the end of, and only has one real branch choice, which is whether to take a 3-point mini campfire bonus or a beaver card, and both are great. Otherwise, it really is just a straightforward float that adds a new way to combo a few things. The rapids makes it a bit more of a challenge to get to the end and has bigger choices, both in the branching paths and in the bonus tiles you find along the way. It's not exactly difficult, but there is a bit more reason to plan ahead. Either way, the stuff in Downstream will definitely add to the lifespan of an already replayable package.
When we first heard about Downstream, we weren't certain that we needed an expansion for Meadow, adorable otters on the box or not, but after playing with it, we can't imagine playing without it. It doesn't add too much in the way of complexity, but it certainly expands the decision space just enough. And having your kayaker on the board rowing up the rapids does a great job of putting you into the game and providing a bit of context for everything. It probably does raise the weight just enough that you'll want to leave it out for your first few games with newer players, especially if they are newer gamers. But once you have a play or two under your belt, there is no reason not to throw on your hip waders and head out to the wetlands and hopefully find this little guy waiting for you. And that is it. Have you played Meadow Downstream or even just the base game? Let us know what you think in the comments. And as always, please do like and subscribe. And hopefully we will see you all next time for another game.